There's this really frustrating paradox in the hotel world. Your hotel can be completely packed, no vacancy sign lit up, and yet you're still not hitting your financial goals. It doesn't seem to make sense, right? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly why that happens. So, does this whole scene sound a little too familiar? It's peak season, every single room is booked, the phone's ringing off the hook, you should be popping champagne, but when you actually look at the revenue reports, the numbers just aren't adding up. What is going on? And here's the hard truth. A full hotel, high occupancy, does not automatically mean high revenue. It's a huge issue we see all over, from Thailand to India, right across Southeast Asia. Being full is a nice feeling, for sure, but it's definitely not the whole story. So this leads us right into what we call the occupancy myth. It's this obsession, this laser focus on filling every room no matter the cost. And the crazy thing is, this approach can actually leave you with empty pockets. So what exactly do we mean by the occupancy myth? Well, it's the belief that your occupancy percentage is the be-all and end-all measure of success. But that's a huge mistake, because it completely ignores all the other pieces of the puzzle, the pieces that actually drive real take-home profit. Occupancy is just one number. So if occupancy isn't the whole story, what is? Well, the real profit is hiding in metrics like these. We're talking about your ADR, or average daily rate, what you're getting per room. Then there's RevPAR, which is kind of the superstar metric that combines your rate with your occupancy. And this one is huge. Net revenue. That's the cash you actually have after all those OTA commissions are paid out. And finally, channel profitability, knowing which booking sources are your friends and which are just costing you a fortune. These are the numbers that define a successful hotel. Okay, so we know the what. Fixating on occupancy is the problem, but what about the why? Even when your hotel is buzzing and demand is sky high, where's all that potential revenue leaking away? Let's pinpoint the hidden culprits. Usually, the money is slipping through the cracks because of these 5 bad habits. You've got fear-based discounting, slashing prices just to get heads in beds. There's leaning way too heavily on OTAs during your busiest times when you could be getting profitable direct bookings. A lot of hotels have static pricing that never changes, or even worse, they just copy whatever their competitor is doing, which just starts a race to the bottom. And honestly, it all usually boils down to one thing: weak demand forecasting. So the big question is, how do we fix this mess? The answer is a deep, fundamental shift in your strategy. It's about getting out of that volume mindset, just fill, and moving to a quality strategy, where the goal is to get the absolute best profit from every single room you sell. And you can really see the difference when you put these two mindsets side by side. The old occupancy focus, that's what leads to price wars and razor-thin margins. But a profit focus, that's all about the quality of your revenue. Success isn't just a high percentage, it's high net revenue. This protects your rates, your brand, and it leads to healthy, sustainable margins. It's about working smarter, not just filling rooms harder. And the outcome of this shift? It's simple, but it is an absolute game changer. You can have a full hotel, high occupancy, without having to destroy your rates to get there. You finally break that vicious cycle of discounting and start earning what your hotel is truly worth, especially when everyone wants to book. Okay, so this brings us to the real strategic advantage here. We're not talking about luck or just guessing. We're talking about implementing professional, data-driven revenue management. This is the stuff that completely transforms a hotel's financial health. And let's be honest, there is a huge gap between typical in-house efforts and what dedicated experts can bring to the table. In-house teams are often stretched thin, they're buried in manual reports, and they're just reacting to things. A professional approach brings data-driven forecasting, deep market analysis, and proactive strategies. It's the difference between being pushed around by the market and actually leading it. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, a professional process usually kicks off with something like a strategic revenue audit. First, you dig into your pricing history, especially how you behaved during peak season. Then, you assess your channels, where are bookings coming from, and what's the real cost of each one. Next, you map out demand patterns and your booking pace. And when you put all that data together, bam, you can clearly see exactly where you've been leaving money on the table. All right, let's bring it all home and talk about the future. This is all about building a durable, profitable strategy that lets you consistently run circles around your competition, not just this season, but every season. This quote just nails it. The hotels that win in the future will be the ones that master 3 things: First, they'll forecast demand with incredible accuracy. Second, they'll use that data to price with confidence, no more fear. And third, they will take control of their distribution channels to maximize every dollar. That's the formula. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Take a hard look at your own strategy, the numbers you focus on, and the decisions you make day in and day out. Ask yourself, is my hotel truly designed to maximize profit? Or am I still stuck in the occupancy myth? The answer to that question will define your future.